What's good with it, Black Goose TV family? Double salute. As always, your boy Fluence Boxing is back at it again with some more Fluence Boxing news. And look, I just had to continue the discussion when it comes to the pay-per-view numbers that are being reported around Canelo versus Triple G3. We have the Zone reporting it doing over a mil. We have Dan Raphael saying, yo, look, that's globally. If you want to talk about what it did in the U.S. market, it only did about 500K. And remember, y'all, I don't want to rub this in your face, but I said I don't see this thing doing no better than maybe 400 to 450. Now, it blew me out of the water just a little bit by, it being reported that it did 500 to 550K. I was talking about U.S. pay-per-view buys. So I was close. I was goddamn close, right? And then Eddie Hearn, you know what I'm saying? Y'all can check out my other video that I dropped on that. Eddie Hearn going back and forth with Dan Raphael, basically saying that's a lie. Those numbers aren't correct. All y'all need to do is just believe in the zone. And if the zone says over a mil pay-per-view buys, shut up, don't say nothing, and listen and take it for the truth. That's basically what Eddie Hearn is telling us to do. Dan Raphael, on the other hand, is saying, you ain't finna do with me like that. Because we all know, what I'm saying, if you're a boxing head, Dan Raphael is one of the most, reputable boxing reporters, for a long, long time. You know what I'm saying? Like I always say, man, he's like 90% right. But also, I love Eddie Hearn as a promoter. Eddie Hearn's, a great promoter. There was a time like two years in a row when I was doing this YouTube boxing shit, and I was saying, Eddie Hearn needs to be promoter of the year because he was really killing that at one point. But with all that being said, I was very interested in this particular article and wanted to share with y'all, Black Goose TV family, because we're talking about a little bit of promoter beef, and I would kind of see what's going on, what's being said, what are the words. We have Leonard Ellerbe apparently. Either I don't know if it's negative words, I don't know if it's respectful words, I don't know if it's just commenting on it, whatever the case may be. But apparently Leonard Ellerbe has some things to say about the pay-per-view numbers for Canelo versus Triple G, and Eddie Hearn was like, yo, I'm finna respond, because it seemed like Eddie Hearn's been responding to everything on the Twitter side of the game when it comes to any pay-per-view numbers. Anything that is disputing the pay-per-view numbers reported by the zone, Eddie Hearn's hopping up in that thing like, yo, nope, you know what I'm saying? That's what he did with Dan Raphael. So I'm interested to see how this little exchange goes, especially when it comes to Leonard Ellerbe. I know, you're associated with Floyd, but if we're talking about current modern day boxing, should you really be coming at, a promoter who isn't even based in the US, who was able to sell over 500K pay-per-views? Because I'm like, Javante ain't touching that. And he's a U.S.-born fighter, so I'm gonna be very interested on this, back and forth. I'm actually surprised that Leonard Ellerbe, was coming at Eddie Hearn for these numbers. I know they've always had beef. It's been very public. Leonard Ellerbe and Eddie Hearn do not like each other, or at least that's what's presented to us, from the outside looking in. But I'm actually surprised, he says something about this particular fight. But at the end of the day, it does come down to, are you going to make your money back? So he's probably looking at it from the number standpoint, where it's like, yo, you paid these guys $75 million just to fight, and that's not including everything else going on. And your projection for the number of pay-per-view buys just US to cover that needed to be at least 800K, and you weren't even close to that. But you're going to try and flaunt this global 1.06 million pay-per-view buy number when we all know that, like, yeah, you may have done over a mil, but that's not going to cost, it's not going to, you're going to end up in the negative when it comes to how much you spent. I'm assuming that's going to be his argument. I don't know. I'm not here to assume, no. We're here to find out the details, the truth, the actual, factual, nitty-gritty of everything that's going on. And that's why we have this amazing article here. So we about to get into this. We're going to find out the back and forth. We're going to see how good of a time it was, because I love it when promoters beef. It's probably not going to be too much, because promoters usually keep it sweet, simple, short, to the point. But whatever we get, what I'm saying, let's go ahead and digest it and, try and come up with a conclusion out of it ourselves. So before I get into it, man, show some love. Hit the like button below. You feel me? Subscribe to the channel. Notification gang. Comment on this joint. Let me know what you guys think about everything going on when it comes to Leonard Ellerbe versus Eddie Hearn. How do you guys feel about the trash talk? How do you guys feel about the pay-per-view numbers? This whole entire channel is based off of what y'all think, y'all perspective. So make sure y'all drop it down below in the comment section. Be heard. You feel me? Be heard. Vocalize yourself. So, all right. Now, with all that being out of the way, let's get into this article. I'm excited for this. Ellerbe and Hearn trade trash talk over Canelo Triple G. That says 2, but it's 3 pay-per-view numbers. So, Mayweather Promotions CEO Leonard Ellerbe and Eddie Hearn went back and forth on social media today over the pay-per-view numbers for last weekend's trilogy fight between Canelo Alvarez and Triple G. Ellerbe did a bit of gloating after industry insider Dan Raphael reported that Canelo vs. Triple G brought in between $550K and $575. According to Raphael, those numbers are disappointing, and he doubts that they'll cover the $75 million in purses paid out to Canelo and Triple G for their headliner last Saturday. DAZN reported that the total buy rate was 1.06 million for the Canelo Triple G3 fight. However, Raphael says those were global numbers and not for the United States, which charges more per pay-per-view. DAZN hasn't reported the total revenue pool in for the Canelo vs. Triple G3 fight yet. That would clear up a lot of things if they revealed that to the public, because it would shed light on whether the buys will cover the $75 million in purses for Canelo and Triple G. So this is from Leonard Ellerbe in response to Dan Raphael saying, disappointing Canelo Triple G pay-per-view numbers. Read my story and sign up for my boxing newsletter, which is reporting the 550, 575. Leonard Ellerbe responded and said he might need a little cheering up, so let's sing him a song. Ain't no sunshine at the zone. Eddie Hearn went on to say, blimey, Lenny, we just did 1 million pay-per-view buys. When was the last time you were involved with a fight that did more than about 100K? And don't count Floyd because you were just packing his jock strap. So I knew that was going to come up. Like, I knew Eddie Hearn was going to be like, bro, you haven't even sniffed over like 300K with your guy Javante. How are you going to come at me? Like, I know you did amazing numbers with Floyd, but if we're talking about currently, yeah, we paid a big bag to these guys. Yeah, we made a lot of money, but it's still, numbers don't lie. Doing over 500K in today's pay-per-view market is good. I'm not trying to take that away. I'm not trying to say they did a bad number in today's game, in today's market, in today's field. Motherfuckers do not buy pay-per-view. So to do over 500K is surprising. Like I said, I was like, they're going to be lucky if they do over 450. They did $1 million globally. And I was talking about globally. I was like, they're going to be lucky if they do over 450 globally. I wasn't just talking about the U.S. market. So for them to do over 400 in the U.S. market and globally do 1 million, if they did not pay such a big bag to Canelo and Triple G, those are amazing numbers. But at the end of the day, you have to factor in what you spent, because that's all part of the game. So, it's a weird position. But anyways, Leonard Ellerbe, he responded saying, stop it, Edward. Thought I'd send you a little song to cheer you up. Let me know if you need me, Floyd, Steven, or Al to show you how to do the big boy stuff. Get the fuck out of here. For your information, every major player over here is laughing at you. You don't know what the fuck you're doing in the U.S. I will say this. I've been saying I thought it just wasn't promoted right in the U.S. It should have been promoted a lot better. But Eddie Hearn went on to say, blimey, Lenny, we just did. Oh, I'm sorry. Then Leonard Ellerbe. So Leonard Ellerbe, he was going crazy. So seems like Eddie Hearn said one thing to him, and then Leonard Ellerbe said, yo, I'm on that ass. So he went on to say, no time to be going back and forth with you trying to get big boy shit done. You know, that record breaking stuff you know nothing about. Hope you cheer up, mate. Steven Espinoza even wanted to get in on this little back and forth, saying that would still be a pay-per-view buy. Oh, this was in response to this dude right here saying subscribers didn't get the fight as part of a subscription. They just got a small discount. Steven Espinoza said that would still be a pay-per-view buy, not a subscription. They didn't say buys from subscribers. They said 1.06 million, including pay-per-view buys and subscriptions. So they're counting subscriptions as part of buys. Ooh, that's interesting. And then Steven Espinoza also said, can anyone explain what this gibberish means? More than 1.06 million buys generated worldwide, including pay-per-view and DAZN subscriptions. Since when do pay-per-view buys include subscriptions? If they do, we've been way underreporting. Hint, they don't. It's intentional. Obfuscation. That's the first time I've heard that word down. Beautiful. Leonard Ellerbe said, you can't. It's lies. Mad because he overpaid and the pay-per-view underperformed drastically, and he can't run that other bullshit to any of us. Remember, this is the same guy that spent millions and millions of money on a campaign to push pay-per-view is dead. He did. You can't take that. Eddie Hearn did do that, and he fucked up there. And then I read this in the other video I did, but I'm going to read it here too. The first Canelo Triple G fight did 1.3 million pay-per-view buys in the U.S. Rematch at 1.1 in the U.S. Remember, DAZN had nothing to do with those first two. That's when he was still with Golden Boy, a major promotional company in the U.S. The third is going to be between 550, 575K in the U.S. per source of DAZN's announcement of 1.06 million is pay-per-view buys for the entire world, and apparently also including subscriptions. So that was the back and forth between the two. I won't lie, it wasn't much of a back and forth because Eddie Hearn only said one thing. With Eddie Hearn only saying one thing, though, that scares me a little bit. That makes me think that it's not as sweet as he's making it seem. But what do you guys think about this BlakGooseTV family, man? I want to know your guys' opinion, man. Drop it below in the comments, man. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, show some love to your boy. Road to 5K before the end of the year. Notification gang. And on the Arnold Sports nigga side of the game, I'll be back. But one more boxing. You already know what it is. Stay blessed, not stressed. Much love to people.